This is a short video for beginners who are struggling with weaving. I have seen many posts on beginner wrapping sites asking for advice on why their base wires are all bent up, and since I am not that good at describing how to do things, I thought I would make something visual. I have another video demonstrating basic weaving patterns. I will leave the video link at the end of the video. First, let's look at base wires. All these base wires are dead soft. This is 18 gauge or 1mm, a robust wire that is less likely to distort when using thicker weaving wire. Great for bracelets, not so good for complex designs or wrapping delicate stones. This is 20 gauge or 0.8mm. I use this for almost everything. It is a great all-rounder, so if you are a beginner wondering which wires you should buy to start your journey, this one is the one I would recommend. This is 22 gauge or 0.6mm. This is the thinnest of the base wires, and for successful weaving you will need the thinnest weaving wire. Not very robust, this wire doesn't hold its shape too well, but can be useful for adding woven details to items made using a strong frame. These are my weaving wires: 26 gauge or 0.4mm, 28 gauge or 0.3mm, 30 gauge or 0.2mm. This wire is where I started and still my go-to weaving wire. You want to start your weaving with nice straight base wires. No special equipment needed, just grab an old piece of cloth and run the wires through your fingers to straighten them. I am going to start with the thinnest weaving wire, which is 30 gauge. This wire is underrated and ideal for beginners. It is easier on the fingers and will not bend and distort your base wires. I know some people worry about it breaking, but if you use it correctly you will be fine. Always start and end weaving patterns with the weaving wire trapped between two of the base wires. When you weave, keep the weaving wire taut, not tight. Always keep in mind that the weaving wire needs space to fit between the base wires. The main cause of breakage is because the base wires are woven too tightly together, not leaving enough space for the weaving wire. As you add more wires, remember taut, not tight, and remember that this isn't a race. Speed will come with practice. Another tip for avoiding breakage: as you work, your weaving wire will want to twist itself into loops, especially if you are working with a long length. This can happen to all thicknesses, not just the thinnest weaving wire. These loops can simply be untwisted before they pull tight and cause a weak point. The thinner wires create a finer, more delicate weaving pattern that will not cause the base wires to bend out of shape, so if you are just starting out, I would advise starting with this wire combo. Excess weaving wire is removed by rotating the wire at its base where it is trapped between the base wires. The weaving wire should break off below the surface of the weave and you shouldn't be able to feel any snagging ends. Now to demonstrate the thicker weaving wire. This is where a lot of beginners have problems. A tip for very beginners is to start by wrapping the weaving wire once around each wire before starting to weave. This will start the pattern with the base wires having space for the weaving wires between them. Just like with the thinner wire, think taut, not tight. Wrapping too tightly with the thicker wires and not leaving room for the weaving wire to fit between will cause the base wires to start to bend and distort the weave. If you have the right tension, the weaves can be pushed nice and tight next to each other. If you can't push the weaves tightly together, you are wrapping too tightly. Your weaves should be even and sitting next to each other without the base wires changing their shape. Let's compare with the thinner wire. There are places in wire wrapping designs where thicker or thinner wires are more suitable, so being comfortable with both will be beneficial, and of course there is 28 gauge, which is a happy medium. I hope you found this video useful.